Hello, my name is Hannah West, and I am a Master of Public Health student with Liberty University Online. During the spring 2016 semester, I had the opportunity to complete my practicum experience at the North Country Prenatal Perinatal Council located in Northern New York. Next slide, please. The North Country Prenatal Perinatal Council, also known as NCPPC, is a nonprofit organization with its main office located in Watertown, New York. NCPPC services the Tri-County area of Northern New York, which includes Jefferson, Lewis, and St. Lawrence County. Watertown, which is located in Jefferson County, is the largest city in the area with a population of just over 27,000 as of the 2010 census. Jefferson County is also home to Fort Drum and the U.S. Army's 10th Mountain Division. Fort Drum trains approximately 80,000 soldiers each year, and the 10th Mountain Division is one of the most deployed units in the U.S. Army. This is an area which is very near and dear to our hearts, as my family and I lived there for approximately 5 years. We just moved last summer, and it's somewhere that we are actively trying to return to and hope to return to very soon. We also would like to retire there and raise our family in the local area. Continuing on the slide, NCPPC's motto is "Every woman, every child, every family." NCPPC is a nonprofit organization that works towards improving health of all mothers and babies within the North Country. NCPPC's primary source of funding is the New York State Department of Health, Bureau of Women's Health, and the primary grant is the Maternal and Infant Community Health Collaborative Grant. NCPPC is dedicated to strengthening maternal and family health by identifying service needs and improving access to care through community collaboration, education, and referral. Next slide, please. During my practicum, I was supervised by NCPPC's Director of Maternal and Infant Health Services, Brooke Pate. Brooke and I worked closely together to develop the main purpose and primary objectives of my practicum, and we met together on a daily basis to discuss duties as well as my practicum experience overall. I have no doubt in my mind that without Brooke's help, my experience would not have been what it was. Brooke went above and beyond to ensure that I had various learning opportunities and opportunities which would help me and benefit me as a professional. I am thankful for all that Brooke did for me during my time at NCPPC, and I cannot wait to work with someone like her again. The main purpose of my practicum was to strengthen maternal and family health by providing pregnant mothers and women at risk of becoming pregnant with relevant information and providing referrals as necessary. Primary objectives included designing early information packets, attending meetings with local pregnant women and women who were at risk of becoming pregnant, and educating local agencies, clients, and providers on NCPPC's services. Next slide, please. This is just a short list of some of the various duties that I had during my time at NCPPC. The full list would not fit on this slide and would not fit in the time that was allotted for this presentation. So these are just some of the things that I felt benefited me most as a professional. So the first one there, I designed a quick start to a healthy pregnancy checklist. This was actually something that I did on my very first day at NCPPC. It's something that we wanted new mothers who were pregnant to be able to look at, just glance at, and be like, okay, here's what I need to do to get the best start to my pregnancy. Things that we included on the checklist were making your first doctor's appointment. We wanted mothers to know the importance of establishing a relationship with a provider so that way they could continue to address these issues with their provider at a later time. This was just something to give them basic information and then continue later with their provider. Other things on the checklist included starting to take prenatal vitamins, eating a well-balanced diet, drinking plenty of fluids, exercising, stopping the use of alcohol, stopping the use of cigarettes, stopping the use of other drugs and illegal substances, and controlling stress. These are all things which we felt mothers in that community could benefit from knowing about, and it's something, like I said, that we wanted them to then discuss with their provider at a later time. We included this checklist in our early pregnancy information packet. We assembled 40 of these packets on the first day that we were there, and then we forwarded those packets to local providers and agencies within the community who were actively working with these mothers. Also included in the packet was information about NCPPC services, the basics of nutrition for pregnant women, and facts about sexually transmitted infections and sexually transmitted diseases during pregnancy, as well as the checklist that I mentioned earlier. One of the other things that I did during my time at NCPPC was designing the unintended pregnancy prevention flyer for use at Fort Drum. And this flyer had basic facts of unintended pregnancy, as well as the facts of unintended pregnancy among military personnel. The American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists has reported that rates of unintended pregnancy among military may be as high as 65%. And we wanted to outline specific steps that men and women could take to prevent their risk of unintended pregnancy. I also designed a depression screening packet for providers based upon the U.S. Preventive Services Task Force's recent recommendation that all adults within the general population be screened for depression. This recommendation means that depression screenings are now covered under preventive services are now covered as a preventive service under the Affordable Care Act. I wrote a letter to local providers about this recent recommendation and included specific information about why screenings are important for pregnant women and postpartum women, as well as including a copy of the Edinburgh Postnatal Depression Scale and other depression screening depression screening resources that these doctors may find useful. I was also given the opportunity to collaborate with other departments within NCPPC, including the Youth and Family Services Department. I want to come back to this one in just a moment, and it's why that was important to me. One of the other duties that I had was to update the maternal care providers list for the Tri-County area. I also designed reproductive life plan booklets for use in NCPPC's prison program, which falls under the jurisdiction of the Maternal and Infant Health Department. I also attended various collaboration meetings with frontline workers meeting, and one of the other ones was the community health workers meeting, as well as various department meetings within NCPPC. And I found all of these to be very beneficial to me as a professional because they provided me with information that I may not have otherwise received. And then I was able to take that information back to Brooke, discuss it with her, and sometimes even implement some of that within our program. And it was just something that I would not have had otherwise, and I felt that it was very important because I got to see how the other departments and how other issues would affect our specific target population, being pregnant women and women at risk of becoming pregnant. Finally, I was able to work with Brooke to provide clients with specific information that was specific to their concerns. So some of the issues that we addressed were things like healthcare coverages, insurance programs for new mothers and pregnant mothers, as well as local programs and groups for new moms and pregnant moms. We also provided referrals, and we did a lot more with that. And that was something that I really enjoyed, being able to work with the clients themselves. Next slide, please. My practicum project addressed shaken baby syndrome, which is also known as SBS. In New York State, there are approximately 33 cases of SBS each year, and approximately 1/4 of these cases result in infant death. 80% of survivors suffer permanent damage. The target audience for NCPPC's SBS program or presentation is nursing students, early childhood education students, pediatric nurses, and labor and delivery nurses. By addressing these individuals, NCPPC hopes to be able to pass along that information down the line. These individuals have a unique opportunity to work with these parents on a day-to-day basis, whether it be at the hospital, at the doctor's office, at daycare, wherever it may be. They have a unique opportunity to be able to pass the information that they have along to these parents. So we wanted to be able to be sure to give them valuable information so that way they can pass along correct information. NCPPC has launched an internal evaluation of the shaken baby syndrome presentation. Following this evaluation, the presentation will be updated with current data and government recommendations if needed. Please continue to the next slide. I'd like to give just a brief overview of the Period of Purple Crying. This is a program which is integral to NCPPC's SBS program. Sorry about that. It's a bit of a mouthful getting all those acronyms in there. But let's go over this really quick. The period of purple crying begins at approximately 2 weeks of age and continues to 3 to 5 months of age. As you see here, it's a simple acronym which can be memorized and then shared in the future, and that's why we feel it's very important. The first P stands for peak of crying. The crying peaks at approximately 2 months of age and then begins to decline and lessens by approximately 3 to 5 months of age. U stands for unexpected. Crying can come and go with no real reason, and parents or caregivers may not understand why. R is for the fact that this crying may resist soothing. Even after basic needs are met, the baby may continue to cry, and parents or caregivers may not know what else to do. The second P stands for a pain-like expression on the baby's face. The L stands for long-lasting. During this period of time, infants may cry 5 or more hours per day. And finally, the E stands for evening. During this time, infants may cry during the late afternoon and early evening. Next slide, please. Overall, my practicum experience was very positive, and it's something which I will forever treasure. I'm very thankful for the opportunity to work with NCPPC on a mission and in a community which is very near and dear to my heart. My recommendations for NCPPC include to continue to strengthen relationships with other local organizations within their community, including Fort Drum and the U.S. Army Public Health. NCPPC has a unique opportunity with the presence of the military community to influence the local population because of the intermixing between the military community as well as the local population in that area. By partnering with Fort Drum and U.S. Army Public Health, NCPPC can address these issues and broaden their reach. Also, NCPPC should consider the use of pre- and post-presentation assessment to accurately measure knowledge gains. By using only a post-presentation assessment, there may be possible bias. NCPPC could use pre- and post-presentation assessments to greater assess knowledge gains, as well as possibly have a greater understanding of specific areas which they may need to address in future presentations. Next slide, please. On this final slide, you'll find links to the North Country Prenatal Perinatal Council website, as well as the Period of Purple Crying website. These are valuable resources which I encourage you to check out. Again, I would like to thank NCPPC for the opportunity to work with them, and I would like to thank each one of you for tuning into my presentation. Thank you.